How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. To get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy TraderPrad. Give me a second, let me look at the camera just in a second, just fixing the volume and getting everything ready. How's everyone doing? Getting ready for TraderPrad. I smashed the like button and I have no distractions, no football, no racing, no hockey. I love it. Purely tuned in to TraderPrad and all things stock market. Hopefully the day was profitable for you guys. For me, it was profitable until 3 p.m. and then 3 p.m. rolled around and the market just went kaboom mode for no reason. So during that kaboom, I wasn't really in a position, but after the market went kaboom, I thought there could be a capitulation long here on the market, so I decided to really force the trade on Tesla. The trade worked, but not on Tesla. It worked on the QQQ, it worked on Nvidia, but Tesla did not want to bounce after the whole market crashed. So it kind of sucked that the only stock I picked had to do that, whereas the 3 stocks that my manager picked, 2 of them worked for him and 1 of them didn't. Guess which one didn't work for him? Obviously Tesla. So you know, that kind of turned my day to a little bit tiny red on the day. So gonna take that loss and move on. Not like it's gonna turn my month red or my week red. We had a pretty good decent day yesterday. We had a decent day before on Wednesday, I believe. I think Wednesday last week. So our month is still green, off to a good start. And can't wait to see what opportunity set up tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we got big day. We got 8:30, which is CPI. We have banks reporting earnings. I see Victor H is in the house. What's up, Victor? Victor, yes, saying earnings season's upon us. We were actually talking about you a little bit. Someone came into the stream and was asking me about where the Stonks family is, and I said, you know, I haven't really seen the Stonks family in a long time. I do talk to Victor, but I haven't seen Victor in the new year. But I'm very happy to see you here, Victor. How you doing? Hopefully you're having a wonderful year. Wonderful year. You know, I know you're a long-term investor, so the market's been back and forth a little bit, but your portfolio, the biggest component of your portfolio, which was, if I remember, Meta, it's still doing fine. It's still doing pretty decent. So not too bad on your long-term portfolio, if I remember correctly. I have to tune into your streams. I will say I've been coming into work around 9 o'clock, 9:10, so I don't really have time to catch your streams because I'm doing chart prepping, watch list prepping for my own day trade, so I'm not able to see your streams if you are streaming still Monday to Friday at 9 a.m. But I will catch you one of these days for sure. Maybe tomorrow, because I'll have to go into work tomorrow early just so I'm ready, locked and loaded for that CPI trade, if there is one. All right, so let's go to the full screen, talk about my trades on the day, and then also talk about the trades to potentially be ready for tomorrow, such as the earnings basket and all other fun stuff. Not just earnings, but all other fun names that potentially could set up for us to take advantage of. So here is the tweet where I explain my little summary. I've been doing this from the start of this year, basically. So if you're interested in that, follow me on Twitter. All the links obviously down below in the description. You can keep a track of exactly how my day is ending every single day on Twitter, along with the quick little synopsis of how it went. And then you can see all of my charts, every single stock that I trade. Except for a couple setups which are secretive, but besides that, every single setup that I trade is on Twitter. So right here, trade my best trade of the day, SIG. So if you actually pull up SIG on the daily chart, they had a little bit of a guidance update. They guided lower. They're saying people are not spending as much money as they previously were buying jewelry, and you know, obviously guiding lower, not a good news. So investors coming in and selling the stock, and the stock actually flushes into the pre-market low off the original news reaction with a big volume candle. If you go look at it on a different don't worry about it, with the big volume candle. So I look for the capitulation long. I get long on the break of the candle high. I look for the move, and the move starts to look like it's gonna play out, but then it just gets body slammed right back to the south side, and that move doesn't really play out at that point. And then later on in the day, it flushes a little bit more, and then it actually gives me another big volume candle, and then a capitulation. You can see how it's just red candle, red candle, red candle, and then eventually the green candles come in. Double bottoms on the 5-minute chart. Not really a double bottom, but like, you know, holds two times on the 5-minute chart into that 54.50 area, and then a beautiful move right back into day's high. So I'm able to recognize that. I'm buying the dips. I'm adding on the right side of the V. I'm also on the right side of the V over here, but this add over here is technically on the left side of the V. Later on, I add more on the right side of the V, and I'm able to really capitalize on that move all the way to VWAP. I could have exited the stock a little bit better. That exit was not needed. I could have, you know, kept one exit in this whole area, probably somewhere in this middle range, probably at that peak high area. So one exit there, one exit around VWAP, and then maybe work my trade, because sometimes when these trades end up working, they could even completely reverse to the north side. Is that what happened with SIG? It didn't. It was trying to, it didn't, but had market kept going higher, and not just chop around, I do believe SIG would have potentially broken out to the upside and continued to go back towards day high rally. So good trade, put good size on it. It actually helped me get to green on the day. I was just kind of flat, a little red, a little green, flat, a little red, a little green. But later on in the day, the stock kind of came in and just said, okay, you are green now. And sadly, Tesla stole that away from me. All right, AIFF, short, small cap. So small cap short, the stock clearly put in a top around this $5 area. I wasn't watching it then. However, later on in the day, I pulled up the chart to look for, honestly, a long. I was going to hunt for a long, and I did not get my orders to the upside. So the orders were not getting filled, and now I'm just stuck sitting watching the tape of the chart. So watching the tape, the stock gets above $5, immediately gets slammed slam back down. Okay, maybe I don't want to go long. It clearly failed around this area. Let's continue watching the chart and the tape. It gets back above $5. I pull up the stock, I look at the tape, I analyze the tape, and I'm seeing it's not holding above 5. Immediately gets slammed back down. All right, if that's the case, let's go short and risk this little high, because we clearly have a seller. However, the stock is making a higher high, higher low every single time, but I'm seeing a clear selling pattern come in, and we are stuffing this $5 area. So if that's the case, let me quickly take some size and risk above here a little bit, and that gave me a nice little push to the downside as it looked like it was about to reclaim VWAP. I quickly took out some shares for profit. I added that size back, and then on pops I added more size, but then it just kept holding this area for too long. You know, I'm not really at that skill level yet where I can just hold it for the end of the day. If I was, you know, you'd see me laughing and making a lot more money, but no, I'm not at that skill level yet, so I was not able to capitalize on the move over here. This is also another stock, another small cap name, NMHI, and you can see how this stock, I was actually short in this area, and it goes all the way to 80 cents in the after hour. Now obviously this after hour move is a little bit news based. They are getting delist notification or notice on this move down over here in the after hour, but pre-market high failed. I got short in the pre-market area. I had no reasons to get out other than you know, me just not trading the stock properly. However, good trades at the end of the day. Just need to learn to be better at these trades, be better, be smarter, actually look for reasons to get out and not just get out because, oh, that's a good spot to get out, right? SQQ, this was basically the QQQ short around the low a day. So QQQ has a pretty back and forth action, sells off, looks like it was about to, you know, break the low a day and then push into yesterday's lows, if I remember correctly. I think yesterday's low is a little bit lower, and it looks like it's about to do that. So I have an alert order to get short on QQQ, but then I'm now thinking, you know what, it's probably easier for me to manage the trade. I can take more size and risk less because of SQQ's nature. At the end of the day, it's the same thing. It's a leverage ETF. You want to do the calculations of how many shares you would take on QQQ, and technically you want to take the same amount of shares on SQQ and so on. So at the end of the day, it's kind of the same thing, but I can just take more shares and manage more exits on SQQ if the market actually ends up having a big sell-off day. So I decided to do this instead. Eventually the stock and the market decided to just kind of put in a double bottom and bounce back up, so I just took my profits on the short side over there, and I guess you could say long side on SQQ, but short side on the QQQ, and just kind of ran with it. Moderna tried to hunt for the long. Moderna got sold right back into the earnings anchored VWAP area, which was 33.50, 33.60. It looked like a one straight move from where it was in this area to the downside with the volume spike. So I got long. I was able to, you know, scalp 20-30 cents, but like, come on, am I really trading for 20-30 cents? That's boring. I'm not doing that. So I did not take my profit. Later on, however, the stock came back to the downside, and I'm watching the tape, I'm studying the action. I could have let it trigger my stop at the low a day. Instead, I just said this is not the trade. I'm now looking at things that are against me, right? We got a pop and got reject. That might actually be a fake candle. So let's go to Moderna here and see if it is a fake candle or not. Does pop later on in the day, obviously, without me. So right here in this area, so yeah, that was a fake candle. It's not a real candle, but in this area it pops, makes a new high, but then that gets stuffed right back to the downside, and that's a pretty volatile candle to drop, what, 40 cents, 30 cents in a 1 minute swoop straight to the downside. So still an active seller, probably the same seller who's been riding it all the way down from yesterday's high into yesterday's earnings VWAP and so on. So still a lot of selling over here, and if you actually look at it, the stock manages to break that low and go a little bit lower into 33 and then really have that bounce afterwards. Of course, when I'm not involved in it, it manages to have that capitulation bounce, but this is also probably like the, yeah, it actually, I guess, capitulated fairly well and bounced, but not I lost the first time. I said no thank you. I said no thank you. Walgreens, I'm pretty salty about this one, very salty about this one. I guess, you know, slower name, should take it much slower. Technically a 3-bar play on the daily chart, but it is into moving averages. You got the 200-day moving average right above here. You got the 200-day moving EMA right into the $12 area. You got the gap down high into the $12 area. So technically the 3-bar play on WBA on Walgreens over here for the breakout, and right off the open, the stock actually drops to the downside, immediately pops back up and shows you buying above 12 non-stop. So what do? I look for the long. I'm looking long. I take the breakout over here of 12. I add back on the 1205. It dips and holds VWAP for the most part of the day. I add more, so I'm just going back and forth, adding size, taking scalps. I'm adding size, taking scalps, adding size, taking scalps. Eventually it pushes into 1230 and I'm thinking, oh buddy, I'm about to make so much money today. Stock goes, no you're not, and it immediately gets slammed back down, and I'm having to take out more size out instead of, you know, potentially I should have been all out, taking more size out for flat over here basically, and then taking some size for my stop. So overall down on the name on WBA. I guess I might be flat on the name on WBA if I remember correctly, but pretty annoyed with it because much later, you know, basically where I got stopped out is where the stock turns right back into the high of day 1230. So had I not stopped out, I guess I would have been able to get out for flat, but then the stock got under 1190 after a big swoop down. Are you really you know, being greedy and holding your position all the way back to low a day? I don't know. 99% of the time, I'm probably seeing this action and I'm getting out, especially how the market was reacting today also. I guess I was wrong, right? 99% of the time, I don't take a bigger hit, but the 1% of the time, this happens. This happens. At least that's my opinion on it, and I'm sticking to it. EIX, insurance name, California fires, big you know, tragedy, big problem that's still going on in California. Fires are still not being able to be put out, and obviously that's gonna cause a lot of damage to insurance companies and other companies related in California that might be in maybe home building. So a couple ideas to potentially keep on watch. But EIX has been, you know, really sold off for the last few days. If you look at EIX on the daily chart, absolutely smoked to the downside, and today getting a little bit of a relief rally. So I looked for a long that got stopped out. Later on, looked like the stock was rejecting VWAP non-stop, so I looked for a short at VWAP that got stopped out, but very tiny size on both of them because I don't really touch the trade. If you go back to my synopsis over here, you'll see how I didn't really put size on for the most part until SIG came along. So SIG was a good winner. That's where I put some size, and then later on in the day, wait, where did my Tesla chart go? Did I not post my Tesla chart? Did I not take a screenshot of my Tesla chart? Hold up, let's fix this right now. Where's my Tesla chart? Oh, I did not take a screenshot of my Tesla chart. Really? I did not take a screenshot of my Tesla chart. Let me see if I can get my screenshot really quick. by going into my work computer. Let's see if that is possible, because I need to have that chart saved just so I know what not to do next time. What not to do next time. All right. Oh, there we go. I'm into my computer. In that meantime, let's go continue to WBA, EIX, NMHI. So that's the last one that we have to talk about. That's a small cap name. So NMHI popped up. I can't remember if the stock didn't really have a catalyst, so maybe that's why I was still short biased on it. Tried to get a short into the pre-market high pop area, that rejected. The stock popped into, if I remember correctly, 380. Yeah, popped into 380 and then just kept getting rejected around that area. But like I said, I didn't know where the halt band was on this name, so I just got chopped a lot. I didn't want to get stuck into a halt on NMHI if it popped higher, above 4, above 380, above 4, and it started halting. I didn't want to get stuck into a halt band, so I started taking out my size or taking losses before the high a day broke. Eventually, you know, I said stop doing that, just take less size, and if the high a day breaks and you get stuck into a halt, just say it is what it is, and come back tomorrow, right? Thankfully that didn't happen, and the stock started to go to the downside. Then I traded it a little bit scared, took profits, got back in, traded scared, didn't really get back in later on, and was not able to turn the stock to positive for me at all, sadly. No, it is too late on the day, and the chart might not have my executions anymore. Ew. I think there's a way to turn on previous executions. Remember, they were showing previous executions for a little while on my broker, but now I'd have taken it off. Chart data. Oh man. Alright, I guess I could save the chart at the very least and then kind of draw where I got chopped up. I can do that at least. So let's do that. Open from clipboard, open the chart, and then I'll show you exactly where I got chopped up. So in this area, for the most part, is where, oh, I don't need to do that. In this area, for the most part, is where I got absolutely destroyed. So I just kept trying to catch the long in this area every single time, but the rest of the market, let me just add it to this repertoire. ESLA, add the chart. Forgot to take the screenshot and now lost the executions. GG. Bought along in the circled CIRC LED area. Jesus Christ, Prad. Jesus Christ. Alright, reply as its own post. And we'll talk about NMHI. So yeah, traded this one pretty scarily. Did not size enough when the actual move was playing out. Need to be better at recognizing what's in my favor, and you know, not trading on emotion and then smashing it. Talking about not trading on emotion, watching stupid Tesla. Let me quickly actually log out of my work computer. I don't want it to slow down my resources here. Right, boom. So oh no, I need my watch list for tomorrow because we're gonna talk about that in a second. Talking about emotions and tilt and whatnot. Fought the long in this area too much. If you actually watch it on QQQ, you know, it bounced. QQQ bounced. Nvidia bounced, but it's just the damn Tesla did not want to fucking bounce at all. So got just fought the long too many times, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and I just lost every single time. It just was not fun doing this. So thank you, Tesla, for taking away my day from me. But hopefully we don't do stupid mistakes like that. I really put some risk on table on Tesla too. If this one worked, I would have had a nice day on board. But because it didn't work, it took away my little green day that I had and turned into a little red day, down 0.18R on the day. All right, so that is basically the trades and the review from my trades on the day. Let's head over to the next segment, which will be a little bit quicker, I think, for today, mainly because not a lot of stocks to watch for tomorrow, which is always a good thing. That means you have a very specific list of stocks, and either you trade these stocks or you just sit on your hands and do nothing. However, tomorrow being CPI day, I think that might shake things up. You might find more trades across the board tomorrow than normal, especially right off the bat at 8:30. And here are some of the names that I might be focused on starting from 8:30 going on for the rest of the day. Starting with, as Victor H Investing has already mentioned, we're talking about the bank sector, earnings sector. So let's go to the earnings board really quick. Earnings board, banks, there we go. JP Morgan, Citibank, BlackRock, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, all the financial sectors coming out with their report tomorrow. Most of them, if I remember correctly, JP Morgan right around its all-time high. Yeah, making a spike right before the report coming out tomorrow pre-market. You like seeing those. And then potentially tomorrow making another new all-time high. Last report was not bad at all. They actually reported really good, if I remember correctly. Goldman Sachs almost in a very similar zone. Wells Fargo also kind of doing the same thing. Citibank, do I need to say it? So you can understand that all of these stocks are kind of in the same basket, at least in trade idea. You're just looking for the nice breakout and the continuation, but some of them are at all-time highs, whereas some of them are only at 52-week highs. So Wells Fargo all-time high, if I remember correctly. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley doesn't report tomorrow, but Morgan Stanley also should be around its all-time highs. Goldman Sachs all-time highs, JP Morgan all-time highs. Citibank is the only one that's not at its all-time highs out of the ones that are reporting tomorrow. BlackRock probably at its all-time highs also. What's the other one? BK. Is this a small cap bank, like a regional bank? I'm not sure how big bank the BK is. Maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on this. What's the liquidity on this stock? 4 million shares traded. So that's not bad at all. 4.5 million shares traded on average for a $75 name. Potentially getting a 12 million volume boost coming in tomorrow, as you can see on its last earnings reports. Holy. On its last earnings reports and on any important dates, looks like about 12 to 16 million shares is around the spike high, and you might get a little bit of a volatility spike on this name. So maybe not a bad idea to have BK also on the watch list. I actually was going to ignore it, but might as well put it on the watch list real quick. All right, ATR of 1.37 should be able to, potentially get a look. What's going on with my throat? FAS was a good call from a year ago. What's FAS? Fast to know? Oh, this is the... Oh, call. You mean like options call. Gotcha. FAS, directional financial, 3 times bull. So this is like what, KRE? I'm guessing. KRE was a regional bank ETF, basically. Which is, what a recovery. What a beautiful recovery. Shout out to Silicon Valley Bank. Shout out to, what's the other one? Silvergate? Was it Silvergate? Silicon Valley Bank and Silvergate or something. Now, obviously, if you don't want to trade all the banks, you can potentially go trade the XLF ETF, but keep in mind that you want to have all the banks kind of doing the same thing. At least the top 5 banks in the XLF are probably doing the same thing, as long as JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs report the same way. So if they report the same way, which is hopefully to the green side tomorrow, save the market a little bit. CPI comes in and also rallies the market along with it to the upside, with the less hot inflation number coming into play. So lots of things that could pump the market, and if that's the case, you could potentially look for a overall basket trade long on the ETF completely. But I like to trade personal stocks better. If JP Morgan reported and the JP Morgan's all above its $250, let's throw some levels right now to keep an eye on. I love how JP Morgan just kind of has this nonchalant range, just kind of chilling here from 245.60 to, let's say, 245.50. Just round it down, 245.50 to 244.50. So you have like $1 range here that it could potentially find support on dips tomorrow. But if it reports earnings and reports good, you don't even want to see the stock pulling back into this little resistance that should turn into a support, right? You want to see the stock going into 250 and higher. So let's kind of just mark that area, 253. I'll put 250 as something to keep an eye on. It's a psychological number. Once we go into 250 and blast off from there, it'll be more important to see how the stock behaves into the all-time high dollar price of 253. Also, apparently not a lot of trading actually took place between 250 to 253. All of it happened on that little breakout day, but you could look at that day as a false breakout. We got a failed breakout and then a move right back to the downside on JP Morgan. So a failed breakout day, not really much traded between 250 to 253. So if we do push into that area, I like the trade opportunity to see if there's a reject or if there's a long through there. So watching how JP Morgan sets up for some fun. $5 ATR. Let's get that $10 mover from top to bottom on this bad boy. Citibank, talked about this really quick, not at its all-time high like JP Morgan and the boys, but it is at a 52-week high, which is good enough for me. 74.30, let's just say 74 to 74.30 under over. You're watching to see if the stock can get above 74. Once it gets above 74 and shows you buying above 74, there's almost no shorts for me from there on. But if the stock is not able to stay above 74 tomorrow, there's just simply no longs at that point. Now obviously earnings will create a complete new range. Sometimes it will pop it much higher or drop it much lower. So pre-market area, we're gonna have to work with completely new levels. So the levels I'm writing right now, this is why I don't really like to prep for stocks that are reporting pre-market, because the only way you can prep for stocks that are reporting pre-market is actually get ready in the pre-market and read the report, look at the levels that it's creating, and then be ready to trade them for the regular trading hours. So not much that you can do over here other than just map out some levels that were previously in play and see if those levels come into play or if we go higher or lower from those areas. BlackRock should be a really expensive name, but if you got the buying power and the risk management skills to trade this name, I would say it's worth to keep an eye on. It's got a $20 ATR with a 1 million share average traded. I'm guessing we could see like a 2.5 million shares traded tomorrow with the good 25, 50, 30 to $40 ATR coming into play. So let's see if BlackRock can pop right back into its all-time high. Something that I found while I was scanning is Toronto Bank on the TSX market. So if you have the TSX market or you can also trade this on the New York market, the stock actually has TD. The stock actually has a little bit more room into the level over here. So if TD on the New York market actually pops up into the 200-day moving average slash $56.51, there is a potential chance that takes TD on the Toronto side on a breakout. It had a little bit of a failed breakout today, still ended up 0.5% to the upside, but if it wants to pull up higher on the New York side, I could see this breakout on the Toronto side coming into play. So just a little play to potentially keep an eye on. If TD Bank can get above 78.75 up to $79 and show you buying above it, I think there could be a very, very good long, because most of the time these Canadian stocks pick a trajectory and stick with it, especially like on an important day. So if it's an important day like a bank's earnings and all of them report well and the whole sector's blasting off, this could just catch a whole day trajectory and go to the north side, like $82, $81 even, right? Maybe not. I haven't actually watched TD trade in a long time, so I shouldn't be guessing numbers like that. But if we do pop to the north side and get above 80, I think 81.50 is very, very plausible. But even a move to 80, I'll gladly take a move to 80. So if we can get above 78, 79 and get a move to $80, that should be an easy dollar per share trade by only risking maybe 30 cents, because 78, 75, that seems to be a pretty important area once we do get above that on TD Bank. Let's go to the stock that already reported earnings, kind of burned my socks a little bit today. But I'm still interested to keep a watch on this name. As long as we stay above $12 on pullbacks, I am still willing to watch for the long on this stock. So I'm gonna actually color it purple. JP Morgan, I'm gonna color it purple. Citibank, I'm gonna color it purple. We're going to go back to Goldman Sachs and Wells Fargo. We kind of just jumped to TD Bank. I forgot about WFC and GS. We'll jump back to that real quick. But, WBA, I'm going to continue to watch it for that $12 pullback and hold. But if the stock gets above, today's high, goes into $12.50, and then is about to break out of $12.50, I am very interested for that long, especially if the market has some buying power. I think expecting 14 is not out of play on WBA. I didn't mean to do that, but hey, I did it. I rhymed. So WBA, watching to see if it's in play tomorrow above $12.50, $12 or so, especially if it dips into 12. I am very, very interested on this name. Let's go back to Goldman Sachs. So obviously can't really prep for these names. I mean, just kind of map out some levels that the stocks have been previously at, and some levels that you might be interested in. So keeping an eye on it. We'll see how Goldman Sachs sets up tomorrow. Wells Fargo should be at its all-time high, and that it is, but the chart is very similar to, I guess you could say most of the banks are having the same chart, but very similar to Goldman Sachs chart over here, and not really as close to JP Morgan. Wells Fargo chart very similar to Goldman Sachs, mainly because it's still in the lower end of this range, whereas JP Morgan actually is going back to the higher end of its range. So just a little observation, not that it means anything. We'll see if the report kind of shakes things up. Do we break this low and start going back into the 200-day moving average, or do we break these highs and start going back into all-time high and then a move higher than the all-time high? So watching how Wells Fargo sets up tomorrow for some fun. Let's go to the Magnificent Seven really quick. As the market looks to be fairly weak, and I think tomorrow with CPI coming into play, if the market wants to, it could be that good is bad. We have seen scenarios where good numbers are actually bad and bad numbers are actually good. So if that's a scenario, it really doesn't matter almost what CPI comes out as. The only thing that matters is price action. Price action is king. So if price action dictates that, hey, we're gonna sell off, by we meaning QQQ, if QQQ is gonna start selling off below 500, then that's game on for the short. You can expect 495, 493 coming into play. A $5 short on the QQQ when we break below 500, that's a play that you have to be ready for. I'm gonna just quickly double this. Hello. double this, double it, and flip it to the other person. Is that how it goes? I forget. Markets, QQQ, buy, IWM. So if the market for the QQQ gets below 500 and is actually sticking below 500, meaning there is selling pressure below 500, then all of these names are unraveling with them. So Tesla, Nvidia. So watch out for a possible landslide coming to the market tomorrow with a not so good CPI reaction. Notice how I didn't say CPI number. It's the reaction to the number that's more important, not the number itself, at least for me, because I'm a day trader. I don't care about what it does after 4 o'clock. I only care about what it does from 8:30 to 4 o'clock. So the reaction to the news, the catalyst, is way more important, and I'll be trading off of that. So I'll be watching to see how QQQ reacts off of that. If QQQ is breaking down, then boy oh boy, expect Nvidia to start opening up the floodgates and going back into its 200-day moving average. Expect Amazon. Now this might be the best trade out there for you to go and hunt, especially if Amazon starts to get below 216. Look how beautiful a 3-day hold of 216 is. So if we get below that 216 area, you can really get some downside move along with the market flushing Amazon with it. So I'm gonna go back into my notes here, and I want to put 216 on alert. I want to be ready for it. I want to be in my chair 8:30 ready for that 216 breakdown if market is crashing along with the CPI reaction, or I want to be ready to get long and risk off of 216 because the market is going higher, and Amazon is potentially going to bounce with the rest of the market. Amazon 216 long, and you get to get out at what, 220, 225. You're risking potentially 50 cents if you get a good entry, and you are getting about multiple dollars, $5-6 of reward. Like, what more do you want at that point? So very interested to see how Amazon sets up tomorrow on this market opportunity that we're getting. So obviously you can see how purples are the more important names for me to keep an eye on. Nvidia makes that cut. Tesla doesn't really make that cut right now, but potentially should, especially if the market is pretty weak. Tesla doesn't make the cut right now because I'm a little butthurt about Tesla, but I'll see if I want to give Tesla the priority tomorrow going into pre-market. So I'll see how pre-market sets up on Tesla to react off of it. No, I don't like that. Okay. Coin, MicroStrategy, I guess you could keep an eye on the basket of names over here. You know, Bitcoin did get back above 95k and doing so pretty well above 95k. So Coinbase obviously going back higher, MicroStrategy going back higher, IBIT, the instrument that you can use to trade Bitcoin, basically going back higher. At the end of the day, I think CPI is the only thing that matters. If CPI doesn't come out good, potentially taking Bitcoin along with it to the downside, and then obviously Coinbase at that point is a really good short for me, because if Coinbase gets back below 245, 246, I think we can expect a bigger move to the downside. But if market's bouncing, you know, crypto's going higher, then I'm potentially looking at IBIT or MSTR instead. I just don't like to go long Coinbase. Fuck Coinbase. Coinbase is you know, their last earnings report was so shit that I've been calling the short in this whole area. If you guys were listening to my stream back in November, back in December, I was extremely bearish about Coinbase in this area, and boy oh boy was I right. Boy oh boy was I right, right? So watching Coinbase go to the downside at the moment, not too interested long Coinbase, but if Bitcoin is having some strength, I am looking to go long, and that'll be probably on IBIT and MSTR. RGTI and the rest of the quantum names, as I said, look for a possible bounce on this basket today, and they actually did bounce. So good bounce on most of these names. RGTI, QMCO. The QMCO didn't actually do too much. I had an inside day 7% bounce on this one. IonQ. What else? ARQQ. So good bounce day on the quantum basket. Let me just show you all the quantum names right there. Boom. ARQQ, IonQ, QBTS, QUBT, LAES, and all the other fun names. But with any bounce, it's just opportunities to short them again. So looking to see, especially the ones that bounced hard, like RGTI bounced fairly well back into $9. If RGTI gives me a pop into the 5-day moving average, like what, $10 or so, I'm very interested to short that pop on RGTI. So watching how these stocks react, especially off the CPI reaction. These stocks could pop a little bit more off a good CPI and then really set up for a big short. So I'm very interested. The bubble's been popped. I don't expect these stocks to go much higher, no matter how strong the market is. That's for the quantum names. The other basket, DJT holding fairly well on the pullback over here above 38, and 38 was basically kind of the previous level. It was actually 39, but the 38 holding fairly well over here on DJT. As long as 38 shows you buying, I think you're continuing to watch DJT for a potential move back into 40 or a move higher for going into inauguration date. So lots of fun trading opportunities setting up over here, watching DJT for that. Where am I typing? Palantir. Let's go to Palantir. Good bounce today. I did say that Palantir is due for a bounce, so nice bounce, but along with that bounce, it just got immediately stuffed right from the $70 area, $68 to $70 area. So as I said, I don't trust the long too much. You want to be careful. Obviously, the lower Palantir goes, the better the long gets. But right now with this tiny consolidation, watching how Palantir sets up for a CPI day move. But more importantly than Palantir, I think Palantir is kind of in the shadow realm of the watch list, honestly. More importantly than that stock is Robinhood, because look how good Robinhood looks right now on the daily chart. So if Robinhood starts to get above, although that is a doji, I think that's called a doji, or a hammer, it doesn't matter. That's a pretty bearish candle. That's all I need to say. Fairly bearish candle. Looks a lot weakness on the pop today. They popped up on a crypto award of some sort, tapped as top 2025 crypto pick amid potential SEC policy shift under Trump's presidency. So coming up on top in that article, I guess. So that gave them a pop, and then that pop obviously got sold off. However, even getting sold off, they're still up almost 5.5% on the day. So if a good CPI comes out and cryptocurrency starts rallying, market starts rallying, what is Robinhood doing? Robinhood's probably flying 10% tomorrow. So watch out for this stock. This will be probably a high interest name, especially if the market's going higher. Can we get much higher? So high. All right, so if we can get higher than 44 and actually hold above 44 on dips, I am very, very, very interested to see how the stock reacts. Right, well, I don't know why I almost said market. How the stock reacts. Adding an alert at QQQ. Quantum names, I'll be shuffling through them all day anyway, so I don't feel like I need to put notes for those or set alerts for those. Coinbase, I do want to short Coinbase on somewhat of a move into this area. So if you get below 250 Coinbase, please do tell me. Amazon, do I have an alert at 216 area? It might trigger tomorrow off pre-market, honestly. So I'll just try to set it as close to 216 as I can. WBA 12, I'll be watching it, so I don't need to set an alert. And then obviously the banking sector, I'll be reading those reports in the morning using my good friends over at Benzinga, so I don't really need to be setting alerts for those stocks either. If you guys are interested in my sponsors through which these streams are possible, shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Flash Research, Trade Ideas, and Benzinga. If you are interested in using these products, go check out these products right here using my link in the description below from Linktree. Also, feel free to follow me on all of my social media. I'm fairly active on Twitter, fairly active on Instagram, and in the means of posting memes. So join me on the social media, and click on this link if you're interested on becoming a better trader, because this is going to show you the amount of hard work that I'm doing, A, but B, it has a lot of knowledge in that chart. So if you're interested in learning some setups and learning some charts, here's a free catalog of charts that I'm sharing with people. Feel free to click on it. Dallas is in the house. Follow this man. Let's go. What's up, Dallas? How you doing, brother? How you doing? Shout out to you on your day today. I know you and I both fought that stupid Tesla trade. Damn it, Tesla. Fucking. All right. What am I doing? So that is basically all she wrote for tonight's stream. I talked about my trades on the day. I talked about the trades I might be interested in tomorrow, mainly the banking sector watch list. Did you look at MFA? What is that? MFA Financial, are they reporting earnings? What is this name? If they're not reporting earnings, I almost don't really care about what this name is going to do or what they do tomorrow at all. Looks like they don't report earnings, so yeah, not too interested about what that company does at the moment. When they do report earnings, maybe I'll take a look at it, unless this is like a California play or something. If it's a California play, maybe I need to keep a closer watch on it. Wow, the stock got absolutely destroyed that day. It was in April 2020. I guess this was probably right when the Silvergate and all the other things happening, or is this COVID? Is that the COVID crash? Oof, my oh my. Yeah, anyways, not interested in MFA at all for tomorrow. Going through my watch list really quick to see if I missed anything. Nope, for the most part, golden. Also, I want to go check if the IPO's tomorrow. No, it's on the 16th, I believe. Where's the IPO calendar? IPO calendar is... Oh yeah, we got a new one. So 24th and on the 16th. So we got two good IPOs coming out. This week one, and then we got another one next week. Interesting. Okay. That's all she wrote. Once again, I guess I'll remind you guys that it is... Let me hide my screen real quick before I get doxxed, because fucking investing.com loves to dox me. Tomorrow is CPI day, 8:30 a.m. CPI 8:30 a.m. Today, Fed member at 3 o'clock or so started to shake the market a bit. That is possible tomorrow also at 10 o'clock. A 2-star Fed speaker at 10 o'clock. Crude numbers at 10:30. Beige book at 2 o'clock. But the only thing that matters is the 8:30 CPI. I wish you guys the best of luck. It's time for me to head out. Nice quick little day. Watch list is small. Didn't have to, review a million stocks because I'm not trading a million stocks anymore. Woohoo! I'm only trading selected stocks, selected zones, selected setups now. Watch me tomorrow have 17 stocks traded. Hopefully I don't. Hopefully I'm still sticking to my regime of, you know, being calm, cool, collected, selected, being a sniper, quality over quantity, and you know, raking that money that we need to be, baby. Raking that money that we need to be. So looking forward to seeing how tomorrow unfolds. I wish you guys the best. Tune in tomorrow at 8 o'clock to see how I traded and also what might be interesting for the day after. TraderPrad out. Time for me to roll in the outro. Peace. Today, so pretty good moves across the board. Tech basket, get destroyed. Get ready for trade off of. Get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here. Back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day. So let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.